I don't know what I'm doing, and yet I keep doing something different each time, even if it feels disconnected. I don't know where I'm going, but I keep taking steps, even if they feel uncertain. I don't know if I ended up here by chance or by fate. Maybe it depends on what you choose to believe. Maybe life isn't about knowing, but about feeling, about letting go and allowing yourselves to be carried by the current. About sitting by the ocean for hours, listening to what the breeze has to say. And finally, feeling that spark again, the quiet thrill that tells us our heart is healing and that it's beginning to beat once more. What if, in the end, the things that shake us are nothing more than a violent push to be brave, an open door calling us to listen? And if we do, what happens if we close our eyes and jump? Before sharing more insights from my last trip, I want to tell you a brief and lovely story. At my last accommodation in Faro, Portugal, the man who checked me in, named Luis, asked if I liked to draw. Surprised, I said yes. He then told me he was a painter and pulled out a large collection of postcards he had painted himself, laying them out on the table for me to choose one. Once I made my choice, he dedicated it to me. Then, he took out a blank postcard, handed it to me, and said, "Would you draw something for me and leave it in your room before you leave?" I think this might be the best souvenir I could have brought back, don't you think? Portugal, at least its southern coast, is full of abandoned buildings. I find them inspiring. The colors that were once vibrant, the tiles now cracked or missing, the wood peeling away from the wear of time. I can't help but wonder what they must have looked like in their prime, when people filled those spaces, when kitchens smelled of bacalhau à brás, when life moved in and out of them. But then, just a few steps ahead, I see a building under construction, and right next to it, another beautifully restored one. And I know that, sooner or later, someone will come and bring that abandoned one back to life. I just hope they do it in a way that preserves its essence, no matter what its final purpose becomes. After all, it seems just a metaphor for ourselves. When our old habits or ways of being no longer work and we fall into one of those dark nights of the soul, it's up to us to rediscover ourselves, to explore our rooms, corners, and abandoned spaces, and with love, patience, and work, rebuild ourselves. The beautiful village of Lagos, and especially its breathtaking coastline, allowed me, for the first time in a long while, to be fully present without needing anything else. I spent hours sitting on the ground, on a cliff, watching the waves crash against the rocks, breathing in the salty air, listening to the endless cries of seagulls. It's funny how, in that state of peace, your energy shifts. Suddenly, you find yourself sharing peanuts with a stranger without even trying. Just like that, as if you'd somehow become a magnet. And it made me realize that we try too hard sometimes. And maybe the only thing we really need to change is our own energy. Then, what's meant to happen will unfold naturally. I found a beach where people go to surf. I don't like surfing. I tried it once, but I'm not a great swimmer. And when I fell into the water, the board hit me on the head and I freaked out. Now I'm too scared to try again. But I love the vibe of those places. I spent a few hours on that beach with my survival food, just watching people ride their boards in silence. And then I felt something stir inside me, a spark. Excitement, that feeling of something's about to happen, like standing at the starting line of a race just 5 minutes before the gun goes off. Do you know that feeling? Have you ever felt it? Is it possible that sometimes we don't know what to choose because we're afraid to admit what we truly want? Because it feels too bold, too risky? Or because it would mean accepting that the person we're becoming is no longer the person we thought we were supposed to be? Maybe because we're scared of jumping and finding nothing but empty space beneath us. Whatever the case, I think I'm ready to jump. Where to? I don't know yet. But just like I said, maybe it's not about knowing. Maybe it's just about catching your wave. What do you think? Thank you for being here and for joining me on this journey. It really means the world to me. See you in the next video. Goodbye.